Have you ever blown it in your trading? Maybe you were just trading on tilts, or maybe you blew your entire trading account. Well, in today's video, we're going to show you not only how to recover from that, but how to keep going. First, let's acknowledge that blowing it in trading is no different than blowing it in any other area of life. Maybe you're dieting and you spent the whole week eating a pizza a day. Right? Maybe you're working towards some financial goal, trying to stick to a budget, and you went out and bought a giant screen TV. Maybe you swore you would close those day trades, but you hung on to them for a week. Or maybe you're just revenge trading and can't seem to stop. The consequences might be different, but the causes are all the same. Whatever the situation, you had a goal in mind and you blew it. The situations may have been radically different, but the human condition that got you here is universal. In fact, Paul talks about this in 1 Corinthians. In chapter 10, verse 13, he says, "No temptation has overtaken you except such as common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it." Now, we're not going to get into the whole not being tempted beyond what you're able. That's a whole other video, an empowering video, and one that should give us encouragement, but that's a whole other video. All you need to hear is this. Every trader has blown it. I have blown it. If I had a podcast interviewing traders who have blown it and asking them about those stories, my great grandkids who haven't been born yet would still be doing that podcast and have a line out the door of people willing to talk about it. Every single trader goes through this. You are not alone. And I know that may say, okay, it gives me a little bit of comfort knowing I'm not alone, that there's some sort of, misery loves company effect. But how does that help me where I am now? How does that help me moving forward? Well, let's take a look at an example from the Bible of the person who blew it the most, right? King David, godly man, great king. He also committed adultery and then committed murder to cover it up. So yeah, he kind of knows all about blowing it. What did he do? Let's take a look. So he wrote most of the Psalms, and he wrote Psalm 51 specifically about this incident. He had been confronted with what he'd done by his friend, Nathan the priest. So he writes this psalm here, and I love how it starts, right? A lot of the Psalms start with, okay, King David wrote this, he wrote it to a particular guy, play this on a certain instrument. Here's how it starts. David writing this, "To the chief musician, a psalm of David, when Nathan the priest went to him after he had gone to Bathsheba." So he's acknowledging what he did, not just to his friend, the priest, but to the chief musician. He's, all right, Bob, you're going to play this particular thing on a symphony. Here's what I did. Psalm 51:1. "Have mercy upon me, O God, according to your loving kindness, according to the multitude of your tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression and my sin is always before me." So the first thing that David does is he says, I made a mistake. I acknowledge what I did. This is terrible. He talks about wash me thoroughly from my iniquity. This is him saying, I didn't just make a small mistake and it was understandable and maybe I can rationalize parts of it and ask forgiveness for all of it. He says, no. Every single thing that I did was wrong. I acknowledge what I did was wrong. And he asked God to wash him thoroughly from his sins. Verse 4. This is probably the most important aspect of this corollary that I'm going for here. And I recognize that adultery and murder are not on the same level as blowing your trading account or whatever it is you have blown. But the response is what is different. And we'll get into it in just a minute. Let me keep going here. Verse 4. "Against you," capital Y here, referencing God, "against you, you only have I sinned and done this evil in your sight, that you may be found just when you speak and blameless when you judge." So what he's saying is, look, God, I realize that I sinned against Bathsheba, right? I certainly sinned against Uriah and got him killed. But ultimately, the sin was against you, God. All of these things that I did was against you. Now, bringing this down to the level of what we have blown, whether it's blown a diet, blown a budget, or blown a trading plan, ultimately, the person you have, I'm going to put sin in quotation marks here because there's a root cause we're not going to get into today. And I know a lot of you probably are not believers or not Christians and say, how does this apply to me? I'm getting there. You have a trading plan. You have a discipline that you're trying to follow, and you blew that. It is against that plan and ultimately against you yourself and against the, I hate to say this because it's so new agey, against the you that you were trying to be, against the financial freedom that you had set for yourself, the goal that you had set for yourself, the image of your family that you wanted to make real. That's who you sinned against. So you have to acknowledge that, number one, you blew it. And you wouldn't be watching this if you wouldn't be still this far video in the video if you hadn't acknowledged that. And you have to acknowledge who you blew it against. All right, trading plan. All right, Pepper, the financially free, taking his family on vacation and not having to worry about it guy. Against you, I have blown it. You're the one that is going to suffer the consequences of my actions. So step number one, recognize I made a mistake, and here is who should be holding me accountable for this mistake. God ultimately, but also you, your trading plan, that kind of thing. Back to Psalms here. Skipping down to verse 7. Purge me with hyssop, particular plant, right? And I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. I'm going to chase a rabbit just for a second. We think snow is white. Snow is not white. Snow is exactly clear. When you look at a snowflake under a microscope, it is clear. Snow is a reflection of pure light. Pure light is all of the colors combined, which looks like white. So actually, snow, when we think as pure as the driven snow, as white as snow, we're actually saying as white as the light that comes from above. And that's what he's asking for. Wash me as clean and make me a reflection of you. All right, rabbit chasing done. Make me hear, verse 8 here, make me hear joy and gladness, that the bones you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my iniquities and hide your face from my sins and blot out my iniquities. Here's where we're getting here. Verse 10, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. That is what we are getting to. David says, I've done this bad thing. I acknowledge my sin. I sinned against you and only you. I, as a traitor, blew it. I blew up my account. I acknowledge what I have done against my family. Maybe I lost my entire trading account. And now all that money that I had set aside for trading is gone. Maybe I have eaten 4 pizzas this week and now I've set myself back and whatever. Maybe I literally blew that budget. I bought that big screen TV and didn't need it. Bought a new car and didn't have the money for it, right? There's some actual effect here. Then the next step is I acknowledge what I've done. I blow my account. Create in me a clean heart. Help me start over and renew a steadfast spirit. This is one that's so critical. This is why I'm doing this video. Because you can keep that, oh my goodness, I blew it, emotion, feeling, spirit with you going forward. And every day you're going to have this hesitancy, this, I'm going to take this trade or not because I blew it last week. Maybe I shouldn't take this trade. David says, renew a steadfast spirit within me. That word steadfast, it's a Hebrew word that is pronounced kun, and it means to be set up, to be established, to be fixed, to be firmly established, to be directed aright, to be steadfast. So in other words, he's saying, put me back to where I was before this happened. I want to have the same firmness, the same steadfastness, the same courage. I want to follow my trading plan the same way I was before I blew it. And that's what we all want, right? We all want to say, man, if I could just turn back time and not have done this thing. And we can't undo the consequences of our actions. If we've blown the account, the money's gone. If we have eaten those 5 pizzas, the pounds are there. Maybe we could return the big screen TV and get some of our money back, but we can't undo the consequences. But what we can do is we can get back to the place emotionally and spiritually that we were before this happened. So if you have blown, let's say you didn't even blow your trading account. Let's just say you blew your trading plan. That I was trading on demo and no money has left, but I have just set myself back from the progress that I was making. You can get back to the place that you were before that happened. And here's the beauty of it. Where he mentions in here something about, verse 3. Make me hear joy and gladness, that the bones you have broken may rejoice. When you break a bone, and there's a whole analogy of the shepherds, and they would, when a lamb would go astray, they would break its bones and then carry it, right? And that would teach the lamb to stay with the shepherd and blah, 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 blah. But when a bone breaks, that healing spot is actually stronger than it was before. So when you have a steadfast spirit renewed in you, not only are you able to get back to where you were before you blew it, but you're now stronger than you were before you blew it. So there is hope here that not only can you get back on the path to whatever it was you were trying to achieve, but you're actually going to be better now that you're going forward because you have had this experience. You've had this broken bone in your trading plan, in your discipline, and now you're stronger than you were before. And let's be honest, if we've blown an account, or let's say we blew half the account, or let's say we blew our trading plan, not only are you stronger emotionally, but you're actually more motivated. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying an outcome from it could be a good thing. Let me go to this next verse here, because you may say to yourself, why are you talking about this today? Verse 13, then I will teach transgressors your way, and sinners shall be converted to you. Guys, I have blown it more times than I can count. I've never actually blown an entire trading account, only because I never really had that much money in a trading account in the first place. I've lost a lot of money from my perspective, but I'm sure other people have lost more. But I have blown it so many times, and I am here to teach the people who are going through the same thing that I went through the correct way. Right? He says, I will teach transgressors your ways, and sinners shall be converted to you. I'm not necessarily trying to convert people to Jesus, right? That'd be fantastic, but that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to say that you have blown it, I have blown it, every trader has blown it, and this is the way that I got out, right? If you are not a believer and you don't have this spiritual aspect to lean on, you still have these same steps to go through. Acknowledge what you did, acknowledge who you did it against, and start afresh. You're going to have other people, no matter Christian, Muslim, whatever the Klingon religion is, you're going to have other people come and support you. Just like David, at the beginning of this, not only did he tell Nathan and whoever happened to be in the room when that conversation was happening, he told the chief musician, hey, Bob, I know you're going to play this thing on the guitar next week. By the way, I committed adultery and murder. F sharp will be how we sing this thing. Right? He told other people around him so that they could help support him. And he made this decision. He asked for God to renew a right spirit in him, renew a steadfast spirit in him. Verse 10, created me a clean heart. He wanted to change. He wanted to start over. And that's what you have to do. You can't just wallow in, oh my goodness, I've blown this. You can't just sit in the bottom of that pit. Again, the reason that Godly Trading is here, by the way, hi, I'm Pepper, this is Godly Trading. And we are here to help traders overcome discouragement and get to lift them out of the pit of despair and put them back on the road towards success so that they won't quit. Because when you're in the bottom of that pit and you're just wanting to pull the walls in around you saying, I blew it for the third or fifth or 10th time, I'm just ready to quit. No, don't quit. David didn't quit. And David did worse than you. He didn't quit. He asked for forgiveness from whoever it is you need to ask forgiveness from. And then he said, help me, God, start over. Created me a clean heart and renew. All right? Renew means it's like hitting the reset button. It's exactly what it means. I mean, there's a lot of these trading plans out there. DarwinX has one. Fibers has one where you can say, hey, if I'm in a prop firm, let me reset my account, start over. Renew a steadfast spirit in me. And it's that spirit that is the hardest thing. You can hit reset on your account, but you can't instantly hit reset on the spirit, your trading spirit, your enthusiasm, your courage. So here's what you do. Go through all of these steps. Acknowledge what you did. Let others know what you did. For whomever it is you need to ask forgiveness from and help from, do that. And then the next day, you go out there and you focus on one day. For this one day, I'm going to follow my trade plan. I'm not going to let all those distractions, which led me to this point of blowing whatever it is that I blew, have an effect on me. I'm going to put blinders on. I'm going to follow my trade plan for one day. At the end of that day, you're going to rejoice. You're going to say, thank you, God. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, whoever, for helping me, day one, renew this steadfast trading spirit within me. And then you go out day two and do the same thing over again, and day three. And you get to the end of 5 days, and you get to the end of the trading week, and you say, you give thanks. Thank you, God. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, whoever, for helping me through an entire week of getting back on track. That is the only way. I talked about mixing my metaphors. When you fall off the horse into a pit, You've got to get out of the pit and back on the horse. All right. It's more than just falling off the horse or falling into a pit. It's just a daily, one day at a time. And I know it sucks. Patience sucks. Having discipline sucks. All of those things suck, but they are so very necessary. So that's what you do, guys. Now, thank you for being here. I hope this helped. If it was helpful to you, please give me a comment down below. Let me know what you're going through. Let me know if there's any way in which I and us here at Godly Trading can help you out. Give us a like on your way out, and I'll see you all next time.